If you're at all into gardening like I am, you've probably seen this viral seed snail method all over the internet. So I decided that I am going to try it here. You can hear the wind howling in my greenhouse. It's February, it's about 30 degrees out. But here I am, and I'm going to be planting some peas. Now, normally you would not plant peas except to direct sow them, but I'm trying two different methods this year. One is with these larger kind of sturdy containers, and so I've got some shelling peas all in these, and this is my trial for that. And then I'm going to try the snap peas in the seed snail method. We're going to see how transplanting treats each one. So I am pretending that I am planting right like I would in a bed outside. So placing the pea seeds, I don't know, about an inch apart and about an inch down from what's going to be the top of this snail. Another thing to note is that I did a bunch of research and watched a lot of videos, and some people said that depend on the material that you used. And so I have used, let me show you here, some floating row cover on the bottom and then a little bit of parchment paper on the top. And the reason that I've added the parchment paper is so that hopefully the roots won't grow into this floating row cover as they expand. But we'll see, because this is an experiment, how they're going to do. Now I'm just going to carefully roll it up, and then I will show you what it looks like. Making a little bit of a mess here, but that's okay. There are some people who wait until the snail is rolled also to go ahead and put their seeds in the top. We're going to try it this way. Now I put a couple of rubber bands around this roll, and then I noticed that some of the seeds have kind of dislodged. So I'm going to try to set these apart a little bit, and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more soil on the top here and press these down before I water them in. Also, just a side note, this is not a heated greenhouse. Woo. Let's go to Fahrenheit here. And the soil temperature in here is 68 right now. So it should be plenty warm for these peas. Another thing I wanted to point out is that I went ahead and trimmed some of the excess so that all of the peas kind of equally had a chance at getting some light and germination. And now I am just going to water them in. So there you have it, our two methods, and I will keep you updated on which one works better. Some people will bring these seed snails inside if it's real cold out, and obviously they want warm seeds to germinate. So if you were going to plant some tomato or pepper seeds or whatever, you'd probably want them inside. It's still going to get cold here. But this greenhouse, while it's not heated, there is a heater in it to keep it from freezing out here. And it's well protected enough that I think it will do okay for these snap pea seeds, which could be technically in the ground. It's just that we're going to get some freezes and some snow over the next week or two still. So I wanted to start them in here and then try transferring them to the garden. Now, because peas don't like having their roots disturbed, that's why people say that you should direct sow them. So I'm going to try two things. One is when these pea seeds in the larger boxes get big enough, I'm going to try to very carefully lift them out and transplant them. These particular ones have big holes in the bottom, so you can really kind of push everything up through once the roots have air pruned a bit. And then unrolling this and just kind of sliding the starts from the seed snail is another way to do that without hopefully impacting the roots too much. If it works really well for the peas, I might try some root crops that you also normally wouldn't do anything but direct sow, but I don't know, it's a little bit of a risk. Now I'm going to do a second seed snail, and over here I've got some cabbage and some pak choi and things like that that are not really loving being in these tiny little slots. And so I'm going to put them, transplant them carefully into a seed snail, see if they can get better roots growing before I plant them out in the garden. So with this one I tried transplanting some of my tinier seedlings. I've got some pak choi, some red cabbage, and some cilantro in this one. They were a little bit too small maybe to try to transplant because I feel like rolling them up in there might have damaged them a little bit. I hope not. But I might have done better just making the roll and then carefully transplanting them into the roll. But again, we shall see. I will update you on how this goes and stay tuned.